Yo guys, how's everyone doing? It's Beerus Nitro here, and we are back for another What If. Today, we'll actually be continuing a previous What If. What if Vegeta achieved full Power Super Saiyan? Before we jump into it, there are two things which I feel need to be said, as I kind of brushed over them in the previous part, due to it being from Vegeta's perspective. One is that Dende had become the new Guardian of Earth. Two is that Goku did die and decided to stay dead. Some of you guys may be wondering, wait, what? Why would Goku stay dead? He didn't die by sacrificing himself this time, so shouldn't he have no reason to come back? Actually, no, he still would have the same reasoning for coming back, as if we pay close attention to the manga, King Kai is actually the one who commented on Goku always bringing trouble to the earth. This is likely what put the thought into his head. So due to that still happening in this What If, he would still decide to stay dead. Alright, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's get straight into it. We continue this What If during the 7-year time skip between the Cell and Buu saga. I'll go through everyone who saw some changes within this time skip. So, due to Vegeta achieving Super Saiyan 2 alongside Gohan, here he hadn't decided to give up on fighting, and would have continued training, now even more so than ever, as he would see himself as, well, basically the last line of defense. As for Gohan, Vegeta would see Gohan more so as an equal, and not just Kakarot's brat. If you remember from the previous part, Vegeta had made it Kakarot no longer his goal, and as Vegeta didn't give up on fighting, he would make sure that Gohan wouldn't slack off, so Gohan would also keep up his training here. At first he would kind of force Gohan to keep up on his training, but eventually Gohan would be able to find a balance between training and studying, and would come to somewhat enjoy fighting, or at least training and maintaining his power. Soon they would both come to Master Super Saiyan 2, although that would be near the end of the time skip. Goten and Trunks would also see massive gains in power compared to their main canon counterparts. I believe Goten and Trunks would actually be equal in power here. As to why Goten and Trunks would be equal in power, in the main canon, Trunks had trained way more than Goten and had more resources to use, such as the gravity chamber and Vegeta, whereas Goten, other than training like once or twice with Gohan, only really trained with his mom. Wow, when you think of it that way, it's kind of interesting how Trunks had more advantages and the age advantage. Yeah, Goten was only slightly below him in power. Anyway, here they would have an equal playing field, with Goten training with Gohan, who always kept up his training, and the same with Trunks for Vegeta. They would also be training together occasionally. Vegeta would probably see more people training together as a benefit, so I can't see him objecting to this. Heck, even Piccolo would probably join in on these group training sessions. Speaking of Piccolo, he would see some increases in power too, and no, I'm not talking about those supposedly powerful yet ended up being inconsequential increases we heard he had gained in the Buu saga, where he was stated multiple times to have now been equal to Cell's power, as he had trained literally every day since, but he had nothing to show for it. Why? Because he's just a side character and we need the main character to take up all the spotlight? No. I'm talking about some increases that would actually mean something. Although he would usually be at Dende's, helping him with tasks and such, I can imagine he would also go to Gohan's every now and then to check up on his former pupil and friend, but since now he would be training also, Piccolo would join in. He would also occasionally train Goten when he had the itch to spar, but Gohan was busy. Thanks to this, Piccolo would escalate in power more so than he already had. As for everyone's levels pre-Buu saga, and I'm going from lowest to highest here out of all the strongest, Goten and Trunks would be equal, followed by Piccolo, who would be next in the pecking order. My argument for him being stronger than the boys is pretty simple actually. Remember in the Buu saga, where when Super Buu absorbed anybody, the strongest would always remain the most dominant? After Gotenks defused within him, he didn't become Goten or Trunks, but instead Piccolo. And yes, in this What If, Goten and Trunks have trained and managed to become far stronger than their canon counterparts, but so has Piccolo, so he would actually remain stronger than the two, at least until they acquire or master Super Saiyan 2. Next up, Vegeta. He would be stronger than them, as he has achieved and mastered Super Saiyan 2, and Gohan remains the strongest thanks to his innate potential, although he would only be a bit stronger than Vegeta. From here, we can move on to the main events in the Buu saga, which more or less remain the same, up until a certain point. Gohan still attends the same high school, he still becomes Great Saiyan and meets Videl, and then she finds out he's the Great Saiyan and blackmails him into participating in the BT. This all goes down just the same as it did in the main canon, and everyone decides to participate in the BT and begins to train. Maybe some differences here would be that instead of training by themselves, I could see Goten and Trunks training together, but nothing substantial worth mentioning would occur here. On the day of the BT, everything would go the same as in canon, up to the point Gohan gets his energy taken by Spopovich and Yakon, with the only difference beforehand being Goten and Trunks' fight would be even more intense due to them both being stronger and having more of a grasp on their abilities. Seeing as this would actually be a dead even match, and both of them would be equals here, I'd say Goten wins purely due to the fact of how well he performed in the main canon fight. Despite being weaker than Trunks, he actually came very close to beating him, but I digress. Either way, the conclusion of this battle wouldn't really matter, as everything goes the same, just with Goten being the one to punch Satan. So everything would go the same up until Gohan gets his energy taken by Spopovich and Yami. Here's where things start to differ. When Goku is offered to join Shin, instead of Vegeta objecting as he wants to fight Goku, here he would actually be fine with it, and would be fine with tagging along, as he would actually be curious to see this new threat. This is because, as you saw last episode, he had slightly changed his goals very early on. Now through the 7-year time skip, Vegeta's already slightly tweaked goal had time to gradually change even more, with it now being his goal to protect his newfound family, kind of similar to the Tournament Power Vegeta. So because his goal no longer has anything to do with Goku, here he isn't as hangover Goku as he was in the main canon, when he saw this as Goku trying to run away from that fight. Of course he still wants to fight Goku, but that doesn't take priority anymore. Once they arrive at Babidi's ship location, you know the drill. They land me up with Gohan and Kibito and begin to listen in on Babidi, while Shin explains the situation of who Buu is until they are interrupted by the deaths of Spopovich and Yamu, and are understandably surprised that Babidi would order the death of his own minions. After this, the Buu is ordered to kill all but the strongest, like in canon and Dotso, killing Kibito and managing to spit on Krillin. Thanks to his extra training and Vegeta's warning though, Piccolo is able to dodge the spit, so Krillin is the only sea fire turned to stone. Dabura enters the ship, and they all rush after him. For the next fights, the participants would remain the same, as I don't really see Piccolo wanting to play rock, paper and scissors with them just to see who can fight. Besides, they are all far more stronger than him, so he sees no point and decides to just watch the show. So Vegeta still fights Pri, yo this guy's name is hard to pronounce, and completely obliterates him. Goku easily beats Yakon and Dabura enters the fight Gohan. Here, instead of Gohan struggling to beat or rather match Dabura, he completely obliterates him, and was just Super Saiyan at that, truly showing his growth and strength. Everyone would be proud at Gohan's performance. Goku would compliment him on how he's managed to maintain his amazing strength and build upon it so much. Meanwhile, Babidi would start to panic, being pushed to look for a distraction, as he had now gained enough energy to resurrect Buu during the quick fight Dabura and Gohan had just had. After looking at the fighters, he would come up with the idea to control one of them to buy him some time, and tries to take over Vegeta after seeing him as a good candidate. However, unlike main canon, Vegeta completely resists these temptations and cancels it out. Piccolo is the next on Babidi's target list, so he attempts to control him, but to no avail. The group realise that Babidi must be desperate and plan to move now, but just as they do, Vegeta calls Goku to the side and calmly asks him to fight with them outside. Gohan and Piccolo protest, saying this isn't the right time for this, but Goku stops them, understanding this is important to Vegeta, and accepts. Vegeta then asks if Gohan will be able to handle this threat, and after a moment, Gohan regains his composure and assures him that he'll take care of it, with Piccolo of course. They all part ways, with Goku and Vegeta flying off to their battlefield, and Piccolo, Gohan and Shin descending deeper into Babidi's ship. Goku and Vegeta, after some small talk, both go Super Saiyan 2 and begin their fight, which is almost identical to their fight in main canon, just without Majin Vegeta, and more intense as they're both way stronger than their main canon counterparts. Their fight continues for a while, until Vegeta grows tired of this farce, and asks for Goku to show his true power that he knows he's hiding. Goku would be surprised and try to play dumb, saying his current level was him using his all, but Vegeta wouldn't budge, and would retaliate, saying there's no point in them continuing this if they don't both go out all out. After losing a bit more patience, he would then demand for Goku to go into his perfected Super Saiyan 2 state, to which Goku would legitimately be confused to. Vegeta would sigh before saying he had known for a long time that Super Saiyan 2 held great power, but this wasn't the limit. He'll then demonstrate by going into his perfected Super Saiyan 2 state. Whoa, Nitro, what the hell is this? Bad fanfiction? Okay. So earlier when I mentioned Gohan and Vegeta mastering their Super Saiyan 2 forms, this is what I meant. In universe, I think they'll refer to it as perfected, or at least Vegeta would, as that seems like a term he would use. As for aesthetic changes, I wanted to go with something akin to what the DBS manga does for their God transformation. So for those of you who don't know, the manga makes their appearances differ with slight but subtle changes to the aura. So I kinda wanted to take the whole aura change thing and apply it here. So for a perfected Super Saiyan 2, I imagine it wouldn't have any noticeable changes other than the aura becoming much fiercer and the electricity becoming more frequent and pronounced. In a way, it's kind of like symbolizing opening the doorway to Super Saiyan 3 with all its excessive use of electricity, but it's not quite there yet. Vegeta then glances to Goku before saying, "If you don't want to show me your newfound power, then I'll beat it out of you," as he shoots a big bang attack at Goku, so fast that Goku barely has time to even dodge, as he had only just seen the attack coming towards him. After dodging, he'll be hit by a Vegeta he didn't even see and sent hurling to the side before being hit again and again, all by attacks he doesn't even see coming. He only feels them connect and is sent in another direction before multiple surges of pain are felt in that area, followed by it happening again and again and again. Meanwhile, within Babidi's ship, Gohan, Piccolo and Shin finally reach Babidi and begin to confront him. But when they do, a bunch of pink air clouds their vision. Then it clears and they're all suddenly outside and met with Babidi and some pink blob. Gohan and Piccolo are dumbfounded by the sight that stands before them, confused as to whether it was actually the villain they had been told about and preparing for. But one look on Shin's face told them all they needed to know. This was him. This was Majin Buu. With no hesitation at all, they charged at him. 2 Ki blasts would hit Buu as Gohan approached, blinding him and creating a smoke screen, giving Gohan both the chance to see how Buu reacted to the attack and deliver an elbow to Buu's head. This is quickly followed up by some kicks before he quickly moved to the other side of his head and delivered a roundhouse kick, sending him flying into a Makanko Sappo. Did I say that guy right, guys? Makanko Sappo? Yeah, I probably said it right. From Piccolo. Buu would collapse to the floor before rising a few seconds later, with the hold of Makanko Sappo. Yeah, you know what I'm just going to pronounce it. I'm just going to say special beam cannon. With the hole the special beam cannon had left shrinking by the second. Gohan would sigh before saying this may take a while, and they would rush in again. Back to Vegeta and Goku. Vegeta proceeds to, demolish Goku, not giving him any space to think, pushing him into a corner where the only option was for him to transform. And to be fair, Goku would be completely outclassed, so even without him being pushed into a corner, there wouldn't be much else he could do here. After this went on for a bit longer, Goku finally gives in, exerting enough ki to push Vegeta away. He would then do that, signature Goku laugh, before telling Vegeta that he's surprised this new power Vegeta had was actually this strong, and that it was actually superior to his Super Saiyan 2 form. He would then say that although he wasn't lying earlier about not having that specific form, he apologizes, as he did find a level beyond Super Saiyan 2, and Vegeta was right about Super Saiyan 2 not being the limit. He then proceeds to go Super Saiyan 3. This shocks Vegeta, as he thought Goku had some kind of power, but never expected it to be this strong. Although similar, this is another level entirely. Goku would say he couldn't stay in this form for long, so they would have to end this fast and teleport to Vegeta, attacking him. Much to Goku's surprise though, Vegeta would actually be fending off the Super Saiyan 3 form well. It's actually not too plausible for his perfected Super Saiyan 2 form to be able to fight on par with Super Saiyan 3, as we've seen a version of this demonstrated before, quite a few times actually. Vegeta would actually be able to fight against Goku on somewhat equal terms. It was clear that Goku was stronger, but Vegeta was still able to keep up and would be able to do so for quite a while. If you have trouble understanding, think Super Saiyan God Vegeta versus Golden Frieza from my previous What If. Although Super Saiyan God isn't as strong as Blue, which is about equal to Golden Frieza, by using strategy and techniques, Super Saiyan God Vegeta can fare well against Golden Frieza. Though after some time they would both sense Buu's massive ki and stop. Vegeta would tell Goku to stop, admitting that he wanted to test Goku's power to see how well he would fare against it. He had hoped they would be on somewhat equal terms, but he was wrong. Goku had found some way to surpass him yet again. Goku would say that Vegeta held up surprisingly well against his form, but Vegeta would stop him, saying he knows Goku weren't going all out in this new form of his. Although he wasn't angry at this, envious maybe, but not mad. In fact, on the inside he was glad that he now knew there was a level beyond what he had reached. Here, Vegeta would realise and acknowledge Goku for truly being number one. At least for now, as he doesn't plan on staying at this level for longer. They would join up with the current fight at hand, which is Buu vs Piccolo and Gohan. They would see Gohan was using his Master Super Saiyan 2 and decide to join in. Piccolo would fill them in on their enemy and advise them that they should all fight against this Buu guy. So they do. Gohan and Vegeta using Master Super Saiyan 2, and Goku switching between Super Saiyan 2 and 3. Piccolo and even Goten and Trunks arrive to help. Yeah, with all of them working together, it's safe to say that they're able to beat Buu and destroy him, leaving no traces left behind. Unfortunately, this means no Ultimate Gohan, Fusion, Vegeta or Oob, but I don't really see any reason for Buu to survive. After this, Shin thanks them all for helping defeat Buu and is about to leave before Gohan offers to revive Kibito with the Dragon Balls later. Shin graciously accepts and bids them farewell. Everyone goes back to the tournament and enjoys the rest of the day before heading to their respective homes. From here, everything goes back to normal, and for the next 6 months, Earth seems to be at peace. But little do they know what awaits them, as a certain purple cat awakens from its slumber, and after being informed of the whereabouts of the nearest Saiyans, heads straight for King Kai's planet. Here he would encounter Goku and begin his fight with him, as he does in main canon. With this fight, Goku may be able to hold out a bit longer, but ultimately ends in the same way, which is Beerus knocking out Goku and travelling to Earth to look for the Super Saiyan God. Alright, so quick breakdown on what's been going on. On Earth, not much has changed other than Gohan getting with Fidel and becoming a scholar, while still keeping up on his training, although having noticeably less time to do so. So it's pretty amazing how he's able to hold a job and be a husband while still somehow finding time to train? Anyway, as for Vegeta, his fight for Goku had reinvigorated him and given him more motivation to train, as he had seen Super Saiyan 3, the level beyond Super Saiyan 2. Before, he was still training, but not really towards a specific level or goal, only to perfect Super Saiyan 2, as he knew there was a level beyond Super Saiyan 2, but had assumed it was Master Super Saiyan 2. So he put all his time into perfecting it, so that he could protect his family. But now he knew that Super Saiyan 2 was no longer the highest form he could achieve. This motivated him to put his all into training. After fighting with Goku's Super Saiyan 3 form and getting a grasp on his power, he concluded that his perfected Super Saiyan 2 form, if pushed to its limits, can be equal to Goku's Super Saiyan 3 form. Now his aim was to push this perfected Super Saiyan 2 to its limits by training in his base form. As the transformation act as a multiplier to the base form, increasing your base form's power is the smartest way to train, so this is what Vegeta was doing. Anyway, I digress. Next up, Goten and Trunks. Okay, so after witnessing how awesome everyone was when fighting Buu and Super Saiyan 2s, their words not mine, Goten and Trunks wanted a piece of that Super Saiyan 2 action as well, and so during the 6 months, they devoted themselves to achieving it, and managed to do so within a short time. Finally, Piccolo has, well, as usual, kept training. Yeah, I guess that's not too surprising with him, although something to note. Remember how earlier I ranked Piccolo above Goten and Trunks, unless they somehow achieved Super Saiyan 2? Yeah, Goten and Trunks being able to go Super Saiyan 2 kinda pushes Piccolo to the bottom of the strongest, and trust me, Piccolo realizes this, and it kind of hits deeper than it looks. Oh well, don't worry Piccolo, at least you're still the strongest non-Saiyan character. Beerus arrives to Bulma's party as usual, but with a twist. Without Buu here, everything actually manages to go smoothly until Beerus starts to ask about Super Saiyan God. Of course everyone is clueless to this and doesn't know what he's talking about. After a while, Vegeta would come up with the idea to summon Shenron and ask for more information on this Super Saiyan God. After they figure out that the Super Saiyan God is not a person but a form they'll need to perform a ritual to gain, and they are told the requirements for said ritual. This gives them a quick spark of hope. Unfortunately, that spark is quickly extinguished by Piccolo stating that 6 Saiyans are needed, and they currently only have 4. Fidel then comes in and you know what happens, but this only makes 5 Saiyans, they still need 1 more. Wiz, overhearing this, goes to Beerus and reminds him of something, or someone. Beerus sighs before muttering, "So long as it brings me the Super Saiyan God, anything is fine." Wiz then calls for Goku to come out of hiding. If you remember in the main canon, he was trying to observe Beerus' fighting style, so that's why he was hiding. Yo guys, Future Duper Sandra here, just to tell you guys that I kind of messed up and forgot Goku was dead. So, and because he's dead, he can't, observe Beerus and watch his fighting style. So he's actually still on King Kai's planet. Let's just say Wiz goes to King Kai's planet and teleports back with Goku. Wiz would call Goku to him before tapping on his halo before it vanishes before them. Goku had been brought back to life. Everyone would have their reunion with Goku, and it would be a very touching moment. Beerus would hurry them up, and they would begin the ritual. After it had been done, a bright light would fill the sky, and when it dims, we would see a Super Saiyan God Goku. The reason I had Goku instead of Vegeta go Super Saiyan God is because Vegeta, much like Goku in the movie, wouldn't want to use others' powers to help him. Remember how Goku felt ashamed about using others' help to get that power? What if Vegeta had did that? Take what Goku is feeling and multiply it tenfold. As for Gohan, well, let's just say he's working on something right now, so he doesn't really have the desire to become a god. Although everyone would be surprised at Goku's appearance as they don't see much has changed, they are quickly proven wrong as Goku goes in for a punch, showcasing just how strong he'd gotten. From here, they begin their fight, and it is basically the same as in canon, just with a stronger God Goku, as this Goku is way stronger than his main canon counterpart. Goku may also be moving faster too, as he had spent the last 7+ years, and now 6 months, on King Kai's planet. But other than those differences, the fight remains the same, and Beerus leaves the fight satisfied, sparing Goku and safely bringing him down to earth. After expressing his satisfaction with the fight, he almost would leave and everyone would enjoy the rest of the day. Although some of the Sea Fighters, specifically Goku, Vegeta and Gohan, had gained new directions to strive for with this encounter, now was not the time for that though. Now is the time to celebrate, as it was Bulma's birthday after all. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this what if. Sorry if it took too long, but I had to get through so much, especially with all the small details that needed to be explained. Anyways, the next video I do, well, the next what if I do, I've got 2 in the works, as in I've got the Piccolo one, and then I've got another one, so I'm not too sure which one I should do with that. I'll probably put a poll in the in the video in the top right corner now. So yeah, just click it if you want, the mystery what if, I guess, or the Piccolo one to come up next, not next video, next for the next what if that we cover. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.